Hello and welcome. It's time for another episode of One on One. My name is Titilayo Oyinsan, and it's great to be back. It's great to be live once again. It's been a few months that we've done this for One on One. We've been doing a lot of other major TV productions, but the audio pods took a pause, and now we're back. It's been a few months that we've done this.
Okay.
For One on One. We've been doing a lot. Let me just mute that. All right then. So let's jump straight in. Today's episode is a really interesting one. We're going to delve into the transformative power of sustainable energy solutions in Africa. Our guest today is Dr. Jonathan Wilson. He is the winner of the Milken-Motsepe Innovation Prize Program. Now, he takes us on a journey, hopefully, through his pioneering work with a groundbreaking initiative focused on green energy, green solar microgrids, and energy access in sub-Saharan Africa. Now, Dr. Wilson is going to share some insights and hopefully his successes and challenges when it comes to the fourth industrial revolution's technologies for good. And we're going to explore how sustainable energy initiatives are not only addressing crucial environmental challenges, but also creating economic opportunities and empowering communities. Thank you so much for joining us once again, and help me welcome Dr. Jonathan Wilson. Hello, Doc.
Good afternoon. Lovely to be here.
Wow, good afternoon. It's great to finally talk to you. We've been preparing for this for quite a while, yes?
Absolutely. It's been a roller coaster the last few weeks.
Yes. So first of all, I'm just feeling very Nigerian here. So how does it feel to have won $1 million?
It's very difficult to describe. I don't think I really believe it yet.
Really? Better believe it.
I absolutely. It's been one of those few weeks where everything has happened so fast and with such pace, and so many new people to talk to and meet and talk about our technology. I don't think I've stopped really to think, but it's a really fantastic opportunity, and we're all running at this at full speed at this point.
Full speed indeed. Now your I'm going to call it a product, your package, what you put together is something I know a lot of people want to learn from. So let's start from the very beginning. Let's talk about what inspired you, Dr. Wilson, to embark on this journey with Aftrak. It's all about energy access and community empowerment in Africa, but tell us some more.
Absolutely. So I work in the energy industry, and a few years ago I had a fantastic opportunity to tour the energy infrastructure in Malawi. We saw large-scale grid installations, and we also saw some microgrids, but also the people that had absolutely no connection to the grid, to any form of energy access at all. And as we toured around, I remember thinking to myself, there is no mechanical agriculture here at all. Here in the UK, if I were to drive up and down the road, especially at harvest time, you'd see tractors, combines, trailers, things that are doing large amounts of mechanical work. And as I traveled around Malawi, everyone was limited to simply hand tools. And as I went away and read about it and explored the topic, explored into it, it became apparent that a very significant amount of people weren't even reaching the minimum subsistence level, growing the amount of food that they need to survive in a healthy manner. And I remember one night being sat in a bar in Malawi, having just discussed this with the British High Commissioner, another person I was very lucky to meet at the time. And I remember sat there talking to a colleague of mine going, I think we can do something about this.
Wow.
The technology is now ready and available, an option. I think we can make electric tractors that are viable for a community like this. And I remember being told I was mad and that it was never going to work.
Well, they have said a few. They've used the term "mad" once or twice with people who have given some really innovative options for people. But then Africa. It's an interesting place to focus on. You could have focused on any country, well, any continent in the world, but you chose Africa. Let's talk about sustainable energy solutions, like what you've provided for Africa and why it's so important.
Absolutely. I think Africa is ripe for economic revolution. It's ideally placed to be absolutely at the forefront of the development and rollout of green energy solutions. If you look at other countries, either more developed countries such as America, you're battling with misconceptions, you're battling with preconceptions. And Africa offers a marketplace and a people that are not only ready for a fantastic economic revolution in terms of the green energy sphere, but also ready to contribute and be involved and want to go on that journey. I think it is the new land of opportunity. I'm guessing we have a little bit of technical problem here. So while I'm left to myself and on my own, I'll talk a little bit about the Aftrak system. Oh, welcome back.
I'm back. I'm back. You're not on your own. I was just taking it all in, to be honest, because there is quite a few groups of people who have come up with different solutions like what you've come up with, and they've not gotten the listening ear they need. So how did it feel? The opportunity to put this all together for Milken-Motsepe Prize, and what was the process like? Talk to us about that.
So we've focused really initially on one of the lowest GDP countries in Africa, which is Malawi. And as an initial market, you might think that that's a little bit backwards. But what it means is that the entire country has a huge amount of economic potential and has the people there ready to engage with a new technology. We've been very lucky in Malawi to partner with a charity called Tayeni. And Tayeni already have a huge network of farmers, agricultural experts, people on the ground and involved. So when the prize came along and we had this idea and we had a really, really strong team, we felt a really good opportunity to go through it. And the prize was a singular experience. It's taken us all the way from this initial concept where we had an idea, some technology, we had a really good, strong team of people, but that was it. And in that process, we've developed not only the commercial aspects of it, but we've developed the technology from scratch. We brought the technology around the world and demonstrated it. So we've run a full demonstration in South Africa, all as part of the prize process. And it's just, this would not have happened without the interaction with the Milken Institute and the Motsepe Foundation. That's allowed this very singular opportunity. And we've been really lucky to have had success after success through the prize. So it's been a huge amount of work, but absolutely exhilarating.
If you can hear me, you can hear me, yes?
I
I have to ask you now about the challenges involved in even testing out equipment technology like this, because it does feel like there are a lot of people that have put together, different ideas, very innovative ones, but then they've come up short just because of maybe a little bit of red tape. Not a little. In Africa, there's quite a bit. So let's talk challenges now. We're making it sound all rosy. What were the hurdles you had to jump?
So yes, regulatory problems is always going to be a huge hurdle. And we have, again, been putting in place lots and lots and lots of measures and steps and links and connections with the government in Malawi to make sure that we have the freedom to operate. But also what we're doing is we're tying this concept of making it easy, quick, cheap to deploy, we're tying that into the design. So we've designed the solar arrays so they work in a very modular manner and they can work on a single house basis. And this way we can legislate them slightly differently, which allows us quicker, faster, easier access into many, many markets. But also, I think to address some of these problems, our modular approach gives us lots of flexibility into what we install, where we install it, and how we install it with exactly the same base product. And that addresses our key challenge for deploying in a country such as Malawi. And the key challenge is absolutely low cost. You can't have a product that might be fantastic, solves everyone's problems, but if it's unaffordable, it's undeployable and it's not scalable. So we have to make something that has economic benefit to the communities. And we do that, and this I think is a really cool innovation we've come up with. We do this by tying it with agricultural practices. So we've got our solar electric technology, the microarray and the microelectric tractors, but we've tied this with deep bed farming from Taini. And that's proven. We've got 30,000 farmers already doing this. So we've got good data proven to increase the revenue. And I think that gets us over our most significant hurdle.
Okay. All right then. So there are a lot of Africans watching presently. Different countries are watching this conversation, and they're watching you and your team. I'm wondering where next. Where do you believe this technology can make the most impact, and how can people get involved with your team and help support you?
Absolutely. And at the moment, we are making links rapidly and fastly. So anyone who wants to be involved, do send me an email and we will talk and see how we can help each other. But our product is designed to be universally useful. So although we're targeting an initial market of Malawi with the very low GDP country, we're looking at the ways that we can roll it out without this high initial upfront cost that you would typically get with a microgrid. We've designed it in such a way that the microgrid is a product. It's a product that's fast to install. It's a product that's reliable and very, very cheap. So these are applicable across the whole African continent. So anywhere where there might be load shedding, even for those people connected to the grid, this offers a reliable energy backup solution. Scenarios where there is no access to energy to the grid, the same microelectric module can be customized for every single one of those scenarios. So I think we have a product that singularly suits a wide number of markets. And if anyone has an application or a market and they think, great, what I need is a little solar array microgrid that comes out of the box ready to go, then get in touch and we will explore that market and that territory.
I have a feeling there are people taking notes already. You mentioned an email address. Them sending an email. Do you have a site, a website, or something that they could reach out to you on?
Absolutely. So we have lots of information on aftrak.com. Okay. Other websites coming soon. Aftrak is now a very new company.
Okay.
And it has been spun out of a university. So we've done research at the university. We've used the power of the university to help develop our technology. And now Aftrak is starting to commercialize it.
All right, then. Now, for those just tuning in, we are having a conversation on one-on-one with Dr. Jonathan Wilson. Now, he and his team won the Milken-Motsepe Prize for Innovation Program. It was $1 million. I'm just going to say that again. Now, he has been talking to us about his groundbreaking initiative, and it talks about microgrids. So for those of us that do not understand the technology, to a layman, on the street, how does this technology work? How would you explain it to a 10-year-old?
Absolutely. And this is where I get really excited. I'm an engineer at heart. I love talking about technology. So Aftrak is a system. It's an economic system. It's designed to produce higher yields and create income, which makes it self-sustainable. So the way it works, it's got three key components. The first one, our microgrid is made up of modules. So they're like lots of little mini microgrids. They come out of a box and they bend together and assemble. So we've got very, very low assembly costs. And it's all built in the community by the community. And you scale these to whatever size we need for that individual community, depending on the number of homes connected and the number of tractors we're supporting. And then alongside that, we send out our microelectric tractors. These tractors are powered by the solar array. So there's no fuel, no diesel required to run these. And they're specialized to work with conditions in Africa, such as Malawi, where there is a really solid hard pan. And the hard pan is rock solid earth that prevents roots from growing through it. So we have a technique coupled with the tractor called deep bed farming. Deep bed farming is a revolutionary agricultural technique, fully approved for use in Malawi by the government, that effectively triples crop yield. It's a way of managing the land, but what we have to do is break that hard pan. So the tractor breaks the hard pan. The farmers can then practice deep bed farming. That has been shown to increase yield by up to threefold. So that's 3 times the yield. And it pushes farmers past the subsistence limit. So now they're growing ample food, enough food to live on, and the surplus can be sold at market. And suddenly we've taken farmers that are struggling to grow enough to eat, and we've increase their yield to the point where they have sufficient to sell and market and now have a revenue stream. That revenue stream is vital because it creates our economic loop. It means that those farmers can now afford to purchase the electricity from the microgrids, which means that we complete this little circle that makes the microgrids long-term sustainable. Without it, and without the income into the microgrids typically fall into disarray. They start to fall out of repair. And so we think we solve this by adding the increased revenue alongside the system.
All right, then. I honestly, the way you broke it down and the way it even looks on the site, the explanation, the way it's broken down, it feels like such a simple solution, but we know it's not as simple as it looks. But it does feel like you've made a serious impact on the economy of these and the lives of these people, and it's kudos to you and your team. Thank you so much, Doctor.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We have, we like to hear from people who have experienced, things like this and hear the lessons learned. What are the learnings from this whole journey, the whole process for you? Because I have a feeling it wasn't on the first try you got this right. So let's hear about some of the hiccups and what we learned from them.
So I've been working in the field, the energy field, for many, many years. And my passion is technology. I love turning technology into reality. I love finding problems and addressing problems. And this one was, a rather lovely crystallizing moment when you're like, hang on a minute, this idea could really, really work in this environment, this scenario. And we went through it, we looked about it, and then we did lots of proving the point. We looked at it and we said, okay, does it work? Does this work? Does this work? What's the limiting factor? Are we going to be cost limited? Are we going to be equipment limited? Can we buy the right components? And we went around the houses a bit, and then suddenly you get to a point, and I think it's a jumping off point, and you've convinced yourself, you've done all of your own due diligence on your own idea, and you've gone through it and you've gone, actually, this will work. This is a good idea. And that's sort of your crystallizing jumping off point. And I think the biggest bit of advice and the biggest thing that's difficult to do is to recognize that and say, right, now I'm committing. This is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to have a positive impact on the world. And once you get to that point and you commit and you jump off and then you work at it and you overcome the problems. I mean, this has been a exploratory engineering process. And so we've built tractors that don't work. And then we fixed them and we've repaired them. We've worked out why they don't work, and we've taken the learning and we've redesigned it. We've replaced motors, we've replaced drive. And every time we do it, the design iterates and it gets better and it gets more robust and it gets more suitable to the environment. And I think...
So how many tries do you think you had on this?
At the moment, we have 2 fully functional prototypes, both of which are in Malawi.
Fantastic.
They have taken probably 2 or 3 months each to build.
Okay.
They've been tested dozens and dozens and dozens of times.
I can only imagine.
Improvements. Some of them minor, some of them bigger and major.
Okay.
If you look through the videos, for example, you will see that the tractor in this video looks very different from the tractor in the previous video. So the wheels are smaller, the motors are different. And that's because we've gone through this iterative design process. But I think what's been really important as we did it is that at every step, we've been informed by the communities. So Hayeni, who are based purely in Malawi, have been talking to the communities saying, look at this tractor, what do you think? What's going to go wrong? And we've been taking all that information.
Can I ask a question? So I'm wondering which countries, I know you must have done your research on different countries in Africa before settling on working in Malawi. I'm wondering which countries have the closest soil structure to Malawi? Which other countries would have been the next viable option for you?
So any of the other surrounding countries in that sort of equatorial region will have very similar conditions, such as Zambia, and Zimbabwe, you name it, very, very similar conditions. Okay. But the tractor's got another clever trick, and that's the tooling that we've designed. So on the front of the tractor there, you can see this chain tool. That chain tool is the bit that's designed specifically for Malawi. But you don't have to fit that chain tool. The tractor itself is a base unit, and we can change the process that we do depending on the crop or the soil or the particular environment. So if you want to go and grow coffee, in a different climate or a different environment, we would simply change the agricultural tooling on the front of the tractor, and then it becomes applicable to that environment. So we have a really broad range of applicable markets for this product.
All right, then, Doc. I know you are one of those people that loves to talk about what they do and explore new horizons and new opportunities. And I would just love to know where Aftrak is going from here. What is new on the horizon for Aftrak, and what's the next big thing?
I think it's a business direction now, which is fascinating to me as an engineer. I'm sat here going, right, now I've got to run a business. So the $1 million we've won is just a fantastic springboard. It's going to really accelerate us into the next level of production. So next month, the first of next month, we will be in Malawi commissioning a system in a community there. And we're going to take this as our final product development round. We're going to do as much feedback as we can from that system. And then we're going to start putting production lines in place. And that's the step to scaling this, because once we have this ability to cheaply produce it, and the idea is that we produce it in Africa, then we can start to roll it out to numerous communities around the thing. So we've got a good business model in place, and now we're starting to scale. And this is all being driven forwards by the Milken-Motsepe Prize.
I can see how pleased you must be that at least you have the support system, because your primary goal of sustainable energy solutions and renewable energy sources in sub-Saharan Africa is well on its way. There's quite a lot of the sustainable development goals from the UN. When it comes to sustainable energy initiatives, there are quite a lot of initiatives out there. Have you thought about partnerships with other, organizations, companies, and the like? And are there any goals in that particular area?
Yes, absolutely. We've been reaching out across the board. I'd love to be partnered with companies that are deploying things like clinic facilities. I'd love to be partnered with home building companies or charities. I'd love to be as well partnered with the manufacturing facilities in countries like Malawi, countries like South Africa, to utilize all of the supply chains that already exist in Africa. For instance, we'll be looking to source our batteries. At the moment, they're Vata batteries, and we're looking to source them locally so that we're not shipping them around the world. And this all relies on partnerships within Africa. So we are currently, as a company, building our network to make sure that we're economically viable and working with the shortest supply chains we can.
All right, then, Doc, I'm not going to take any more of your time. Thank you so much for breaking this down for us and letting us into how exactly, how happy you are about, what the Milken-Motsepe Prize in Green Energy is going to mean for your team and your projects. I can see the smiles on your faces here in this photo. I can see you look so happy in this photograph. Of course, you should be.
It's not every day where you get up at 9 o'clock and someone goes, "You've won $1 million."
Yep, not every day. But where is that award now? What shelf is it sitting on? Where is it?
Behind me here.
Let me see. Okay, let me see. Let's enlarge that. Wow. Oh, there it is. Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, then. And that's it from us on One-on-One.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Today.
Lovely.
Thank you so much for joining us, Doc. And of course, whenever you're starting your next big projects, just let us know and we'll talk all about it.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to see Aftrak through first.
Definitely. All right, then. Thanks, Doc. Have
Fantastic.
a great day.
Lovely to meet you. Nice to talk.
And that's it from us on One-on-One today. It's been an interesting conversation with Dr. Jonathan Wilson. Now, if you missed it, you can always go back onto YouTube. Just search for it on YouTube. The links are going to be everywhere, all over social media. Just search for One-on-One with Titi, and you will be able to connect with all our past podcasts as well. Now, if you would like to join us on One-on-One sometime soon, it's not hard at all. All you have to do is reach out, send us an email. That's dynamitepodcastnetwork@ gmail.com. That's Dynamite Podcast Network at gmail.com. And we will get back to you. We're going to be having loads of interesting conversations very, very soon. And it will all be accessible via YouTube, LinkedIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you get your podcasts. It's a pleasure. One more time. Until next time,